Hi, Helen. Can we talk about sleep today? Everywhere I'm going, the people are just talking about how little sleep, how they're struggling with sleep, they can't get to sleep, they can't stay asleep. Are you experiencing this too?
Yeah, it's a bit of an obsession at the moment, isn't it? And I know from my experience, I've got osteoarthritis. So if I have a bad night's sleep, my joints hurt more, I'm probably less tolerant. It affects everything. So yeah, I know it from personal experience and from, as you say, working with lots of people as well.
Yeah, and it's the same with me. I mean, I've worked in a profession where sleep is routinely sacrificed, plus, all of my anxiety issues, which I've spoken about. But, what really strikes me is it feels almost like a public health crisis. Yeah. And what's also really striking is how powerless people feel.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, what are your top tips for dealing with this?
Well, I think the first thing is recognize how you think about this stuff, because like you say, people are constantly talking about it, constantly thinking about it, constantly everything on their mind is about, I need a good night's sleep. Am I going to get a good night's sleep? I have to sleep well, I've got this happening tomorrow. And the problem is when you're constantly thinking about it, you're actually setting yourself up to have a really bad night's sleep. So I think the more you can interrupt those conversations that you're having and go, no, actually, I'm going to sleep brilliantly. Even if you can just do that, just stop engaging with the whole thought process around sleep through your day. It's just going to help you massively. Is that something you find?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing people who are keeping sleep diaries, and what I also find interesting is how people think it's very much an identity point. Is I'm an owl, I'm a lark, I'm a terrible sleeper, I'm a light sleeper. And as we know, our beliefs are highly predictive of the outcomes. And one of the things I would say is to really think about how useful is that? And if that is a belief, then what we tend to edit out is the examples that don't fit that mold.
Yeah.
And so we're missing out on a balanced view. But I think the other thing that's really important is, which I had a strange experience that brought this home to me, around sleep habits. And I was traveling pre-pandemic between Australia and Britain. And I was doing some, a bit nervous about the jet lag. And someone introduced me to an app that retrains your brain so that you are moving with the time zones.
Okay.
And I wrote back in the UK completely fine. I followed it to the letter, and it was really interesting. It made me think long and hard about retraining my brain, and that was in just a short period. It was very focused, obviously, wasn't dealing with deep issues or anything like that, but it really set me thinking about what are my sleep habits. And I've introduced that to a number of clients, and that's been really helpful. Yeah. What about for you?
I think one of the best things for me is I find routine is really useful. So often people have late nights, early nights, get up late. The problem is when you haven't got a really good routine with sleep, and especially if you're struggling with sleep, your body clock's all over the place, which is a bit like the jet lag, I suppose, but it's day to day.
Yeah.
And I think if you can get yourself in a reasonable routine where you go to bed at a similar time and you get up at a similar time, actually that makes a huge difference as well.
And the other thing is thinking about the space. I know this is especially in current times when rooms are doubling up for all sorts of a schoolroom or an office, is thinking what's not only in your space, what's cluttering your space, what can you do about that to simplify it? But the same is true about what's going on in our heads, isn't it? About that, the headspace of just really thinking about the patterns and on purpose shifting those patterns and thinking about some really lovely things, some relaxing things. And we have to train our brain to do that as well. Yeah.
And actually, I've heard of some clients that have started doing things like a gratitude practice at night. So the last thing they do before they go to bed is just to think about the things or write down the things that they're really grateful for, so that they're actually going to bed with that really kind of peaceful, grateful feeling rather than everything else that's going on in their lives.
Yeah. And I suppose what we're saying here is there's a lot more that we can do. That sense of powerlessness is we have a lot of influence, and what we know, of course, is having a calmer day influences our nighttime as well. But yeah, I'm grateful for all the tools that I've learned over the years.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the nicest things, just to finish off, is one of the nicest things that you can do is when you get in bed, take yourself on a journey in your head. Take yourself off to the most relaxing place that you can think of and just be there and just enjoy it. It works for the dentist as well, but that's a whole different topic. But just take yourself off in your head to the most relaxing place, because actually if you're relaxed, you'll just drift off to sleep naturally. But even when you're relaxed, your parasympathetic nervous system's working, which is your healing and your nurturing. So it's far better to be there relaxed in a calm place than your brain whirring. So yeah, that's a really good one to try.
It's a really good point you're making, is there's a serious underlying health issue around this, why sleep is something we should pay attention to. So what would you recommend that someone does if they've got some sleep concerns? Just get in touch with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Both of us work with people with sleep issues, so if you want to have a chat, you'll find the link below. Just get in touch. We're happy to have a chat with you.
Okay, thank you, Helen.
Thank you. See you soon.